Let's start and let's see what we talk about today. At first, we will introduce ourselves and use of the company. At the second, we will talk about the role of a LIMS software in the digitalization of laboratories in accordance with the quality standards. And at the end, you will see in a short demo how our LIMS software can support these processes. So let's see our speakers. Anushka Ravindran is our expert in the scientific and clinical aspects of drug development and testing. She also is our UK sales account at Usoft. Stefano Bardazzi is our LIMS expert and pre-sales specialist at Usoft. I am Giovanna and I am the marketing manager at Usoft. Please, Anushka, take the floor and let's start with the Usoft introduction.
Thank you, Giovanna, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. So I'm Anushka and I'm the account exec here for the UK at Usoft. So thank you all for taking the time out to join our webinar today. And I'm going to dive straight in with an introduction to Usoft. So just to give you guys a little bit of introduction as to who we are in the industry and a bit about our experience. So Usoft has been around since 1997, so that's over 25 years of experience in specializing in laboratory management, most specifically looking at LIMS solutions. So that's over 25 years of research and innovation and continuous collaboration with our laboratory experts, both internally in our team and also externally. So we have supported over 200 laboratories in their path to digitalization, and that's including 5,000 users across several industries. One thing I also wanted to mention is that Usoft is a Microsoft certified partner. So what do we mean by that? Is that we are validated, our solution is validated by Microsoft, and it's also available in the Microsoft Marketplace to be acquired. So a bit about our LIMS solution. So Usoft Lab is the name of the solution, and being a software as a service, so it's natively engineered to function as a software as a service on the Microsoft Cloud Azure platform. All you really need is an internet connection, so you don't need to install anything. All you need is an internet connection and you will be able to access the LIMS in any browser, any device, whether that be a computer, a tablet, a phone. You will be able to access all of your laboratory data in all of these devices. It's also configurable for every industry need due to our configurator tool. So we're not just limited to one industry, but experience is across various industries. And of course, Usoft Lab is also compliant with the laboratory regulations. So that was a brief introduction to Usoft before I move on to quality and compliance now, which is the main topic of this webinar. So again, as a reminder, if you guys have any questions, please do use the Q&A, the button to insert any questions, and we will come back to those at the end. So moving on to the main part of this webinar. So we want to be highlighting to you guys why a LIMS can be a fundamental tool for laboratories in their path to digitalization in accordance with quality standards. So there are a few points that we will be covering today. The first one being an overview of the reference standards for testing laboratories. We will then take a look at what we mean by the digitization of a test lab, followed by the role of a LIMS in all of this. So the benefits that a LIMS can give to laboratories in demonstrating their compliance with the quality standards. We'll then sum it up in a brief conclusion before handing over to Stefano, so you can actually see a bit of the solution, a short demonstration of how Usoft Lab looks like. So starting off with the reference standards for test laboratories, ISO IEC 17025 is the main international standard for testing and calibration laboratories. So this standard enables laboratories to demonstrate that they can operate competently and can deliver valid results. It covers all aspects of laboratory management, including quality management system, competence of staff, validity of test results, and management of samples. So we will take a deep dive into several sections of this to really see how an implementation of a LIMS can support certain parts of this standard. We also have good laboratory practices. So these are guidelines that ensure the quality and the reliability of scientific data. So most specifically focusing on research and development laboratories. The standard ensures that the data is not only accurate, but also reproducible and traceable. And next, we have good manufacturing practices. So these are requirements for the production and quality control of regulated products. They ensure that the products are manufactured safely for the health and well-being of patients. And finally, we have CFR 21 Part 11, Food and Drug Administration. So this is focusing on the use of electronic records, electronic signatures. As you may all know, we've been seeing an increase in digitalization during the pandemic, even after. So electronic data, electronic signatures, and so on has come under scrutiny. And this standard really ensures the trustworthiness of such data, the reliability, and the compliance with the quality and safety regulations. Moving on to what we mean by the digitization of a testing laboratory. So what we mean by digitization is simply the transition of traditional laboratory management, where your traditional processes are being carried out by paper or even Excel, for example, are converted into digital processes, digital management using IT and software technologies. So we've been seeing quite a few benefits with this. So the first one being an improved efficiency of processes. So your processes are more streamlined, ensuring more productivity in the lab. You have traceability of all of your protocols, data integrity is guaranteed. And also the automation of repetitive processes, the processes that you may be carrying out manually using paper are automated, which leads to the optimization of resource use and an increase in the return on investment. Especially through a cloud usage, you get real-time access to your data. You're able to monitor that data and also have secure storage of your data and controlled access to that data. So all of these benefits make it easier for laboratories to demonstrate the compliance with the quality standards. So next up in this slide, we've just outlined a few sections from ISO IEC 17025. So sections 6 to 8 are areas in this standard which can be supported by the implementation of a LIMS system. So in the next few slides, we'll take a deep dive into each one and showcase how a LIMS can support this. So first being looking at section 7.11. So this is looking at the control of data and information management. So this section outlines that laboratories should have access to the data and information needed to carry out all of their laboratory activities. So how does a LIMS facilitate this? First, we're looking at traceability. All data inserted in a LIMS can be traced. So this can be the data, activities performed, samples, results, even the quality control measures carried out can be traced back to each sample. LIMS also are able to carry out the management of revisions of test results. And moving on to data information, you can also enable functions depending on the roles of different users. So depending on the role of a user, you can either enable access to certain information within the lab, or you can limit that access to that information in the lab. You also have access to all of your data. So all data is tracked, and this can be queried by an audit feature, giving you access to all the data in the LIMS. Next up, we have section 6 and 7. So section 6 focuses on the management of resources. It states that the laboratory must have the right resources, such as the right personnel, the right laboratory materials, right instrumentation, in order to manage and perform all of your lab activities. And this is simplified through the LIMS because you can manage training records, qualifications of your staff. The same goes for instrumentations. You can associate instrumentations to specific test results and reagents alongside the batch number. Same goes for planning of activities. You can carry out sampling activity, calibration of instruments, maintenance, and all of this is also visualized in specific dashboards, which can be customized depending on the laboratory's needs. Moving on to section 7.7. So this is all about ensuring the validity of test results and quality assurance of test results. The requirement states that the standard must be recorded, documented, and reviewed. It requires the lab to plan and implement actions to address risk opportunities. So risk management is important here. The laboratory should be able to carry out, able to also find any improvements within the organization's activities. So how does a LIMS support this? We're looking at traceability of the reference specifications used, automatic reports to monitor trends over time. So you can see how well your organization is performing, how many samples have come through over a certain period, and you can analyze these trends, these reports, to really identify any improvements within the lab. Moving on to section 7.6. So this is an important point concerning the measurement of uncertainty. And in LLMs, this can be carried out by recording of, by the validation of calculation formulas of test results. You also have access to all the records of the validation checks performed. 7.8 focuses on the presentation of test results. So you're able to present your test results in a systematic way in a LIMS. The generation of COA, so a certificate of analysis, can be done easily. And you can also implement electronic signatures and digital signatures to share that data and that report with external customers and consumers. And finally, the last 2 points we're looking at is 7.4 and 7.5. So these points outlined on this slide, they focus on the acceptance of samples and the requirements of technical records for all lab activities. So in a LIMS, you can define standardized procedures, use predefined templates that allow you to speed up and make automatic acceptance of samples. You can also, sorry, I think there was a question. Oh, okay, I'll carry on. So the same goes for entry of results. You can automatically acquire analytical data from instruments as well. And to finally sum up this brief session on quality and digitalization of test lab, we have highlighted some points here that the main aspects actually of how a LIMS implementation can really drive and enable compliance to the standard. So first of all, we're looking at a systematic approach to managing your data in the lab, reproducibility and traceability of the data and activities performed, control of your data and organization, and being able to plan activities and manage your resources, and also share information internally and externally. So I kind of like to conclude this brief session by saying that a LIMS is not only important to support the quality management system, but it also shows that you have the right processes, the right operational requirements needed to demonstrate compliance with the requirements of the quality standards. So that concludes my speech, and over to you, Stefano.
Thank you, Anushka. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so we're going to have a quick introduction and overview of the use of LabLIMS application, an overview of the main functionality and features, and also we will have a focus on the main topic, which is the standard sample life cycle, from the sample acceptance arrival in the lab till the COA test report generation. In this specific environment, you also have a taste of what the business intelligence BI module with all the dashboards can represent in terms of how to in real time translate all the data in strategic information. So how many samples have been processed for that customer, for the specific month, for the specific category, water, food, etc. As Anushka was mentioning, use of LabLIMS being a native cloud software as a service solution, doesn't need you to worry about any type of installation. All you need really is an internet connection, and you will be able to connect anytime from anywhere with any device. Can be a laptop, can be a smartphone, can be a tablet, and that's a massive improvement in terms also how to apply the technology to the usability of a LIMS application, about the use of Lab 1. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can notice Welcome Admin Lab. So the logic is to provide a role-based access. So if your organization needs a number of people, of users, to give them the capability to access the LIMS with their own credential, they will be recognized in real time, detected with their password, and they will access the system. So the idea is to actually replicate your internal organization in the software. So an analyst can be an analyst, a supervisor, a lab manager, or even to provide a much more limited access to any potential customers. They need to access like a portal, so they will be able to view test results, download the COA, etc. So the top 6 modules from the employees one to the samples included are the so-called basic package. Here is exactly where all the master data needs to be configured, specifically set up at the beginning of any new LIMS implementation project. So we have, for sure, we have the employees module with a list of all the people belonging to your organization, working in the lab or outside the lab with an access to the LIMS or not. But we can also manage courses and qualification. And being the use of lab LIMS a powerful tool, as Anushka mentioned a couple of times, there will be a driving force, a facilitator to achieve a full compliance to high standard quality regulation like ISO 17725. It's also important to be able to demonstrate that that person, which is working as logged in as an analyst to the use of lab LIMS, has got the right technical competence. So they did the courses and the qualification to be able to do their job. The next module quickly is just the subjects module, which is basically we're talking about any type of customers, can be, for example, public, private, any organization you deal with on your daily business. So what we can actually do, we can provide you with a service that will allow to migrate, import, transfer all your data, all your list of customers, suppliers, analysis, methods, instrument, reagents from your current LIMS, or even from your, if you work still on a manual mode, from your Excel file, you will find the full list of your customers in our use of LIMS solution. And the same concept go with the sampling point one. The next module is just the office module, where we try to replicate your internal structure, so you can have one site or more facilities, even nationally or globally speaking, and you can have different labs and different departments. So we will replicate your internal organization. The next module, it's the sample structure module. Here we start talking about what type of sample, what type of test you guys deal with on a daily basis. So we can have, obviously, what we can provide, it's industry template models. So we're talking about food and beverage, pharma, chemicals, manufacturing, medical, any market, any sector. We got customers in Italy and abroad using the LIMS, use of LIMS effectively. And so we can, obviously, we have to customize the LIMS, doing the right configuration for the specific market, the specific sector, with some specific templates. So talking about the sample structure here, we can have, of course, any type of sample type. If I open the lab one, we can have the drinking water, and within the drinking water, we will have all type of drinking water. We can also go and have a look at the test module. The test module is exactly where all the test analysis that you guys perform can be configured. And here we're talking about tests with their methods, SOP, standard operating procedures, any limits, or even any validated formula to release a valid calculated result. So we have test, cumulative test, methods, test packages. Test packages, obviously, we're talking about the capability to build a test profile. So it's like a container made of a number of test analysis that you guys perform week in, week out. And to speed up, accelerate, automate the process and the workflow, we give you this capability to use ready profile and also sample templates. And that will be a massive help in your daily effort, minimizing daily effort and optimizing, maximizing the accuracy of the data that you guys will have to manage. Finally, I can show you the main module of the use of LabLIMS application, which is obviously the sample module. In the sample module, okay, we're talking about samples, but we're talking actually about test requests. So here, let me zoom out a bit. In this specific page, which is the main page of the application for most of our users, customers, you will be able to trace. So in terms of data traceability, you will be able to trace all the previous sample or test requests that have been recorded into the LIMS using filters like for the category equal to water, category equal to food, to any chemical, whatever, any type of category that you want to classify for usage. And also you can use the arrival date, could be today, last week, last month, where the sample state is validated, where we want to check for a specific customer, for a specific project, where a test report certificate of analysis has been issued and sent out, batch number, lot number, digital signature. Bear in mind that there's a big list of filters, and the version of the use of LabLIMS I'm showing you right now today can be modified, so we can add, hide any type of field, page, columns, filters quite easily with our tools, drag and drop tools, very user-friendly. So I'm gonna just show you how quickly I'm gonna change in real time the view. And so I will be able to view all the sample, all the test requests. So with the acceptance number, okay, arrival date, subject, customer, category, product, batch number, sample type, and also sample state, in progress, ready, validated, rejected, the percentage of test results that have been entered. So the analyst can, on a Monday morning, arrive and check what am I supposed to do today, so to complete the sample process. And also, what is interesting here, we have different options in terms of how to record, how to insert, register a new sample, a new test request into the LIMS. Obviously, there is the standard manual option of clicking on the create button, and I will show you an example in a second. But we can also plan, schedule any type of analytical activities, configuring and activating a sampling point with a specific frequency. So we can, and the final goal is still the one to accelerate, speed up, automate the process, saving a lot of time in terms of manual effort. But let's go for the manual effort example for today. I can click on the create button. I'm going to create a sample or a test request of drinking water today. So drinking water, a new sample card is automatically displayed. Bear in mind that what you can see for drinking water, you can have a totally different sample card with different fields. If I go for food, for chemical, for pharma, for sure. So different words with different priorities, different requirements, the different specification. So here I will have just to fill in the mandatory fields. As you can notice straight away, subjects is okay. There we go. Subject, the use of drinking water department. Category, water intended for human consumption. Sampling point. Sample description, product. We go for distribution network. So this is the manual mode of logging in, register a new test request, a new sample. It might be a multiple sample, a sample batch as well. But in this case, we just go for the standard example. And then I complete, I can actually populate, fill in the other fields, which are not mandatory, by the way, and just go and conclude the mandatory ones. Not scheduled, okay. And the last one will be sampling date, so we can put yesterday. Okay, if I forget any field, the system will remind me, don't forget. In this case, I'm gonna complete with adding a test package, okay? So we go for this one, okay? And I can go and click on save. So I've now created a new sample, a new drinking water test request. The standard manual way. The sample is 202424. Sample state is ready. I can, for example, in terms of document management, attach not only in the sample card, by many levels of the different modules. I can attach a file, I can attach a picture, an image that can be easily displayed within the COA, the test report. I can access the notebook to enter the test result, and I will access with an analyst credential in a second. I can suspend, reject, clone the sample. I can issue any type of report, sample label with the barcode, the QR code, a single worksheet. I can generate a test report, and I can also generate a multi-language test report because use of lab LIMS, it's also a multi-language tool. That means, obviously, today we are seeing that in English, and I'm going to generate an English test report, but it can be at the same time be used in Italian, Spanish, French, Polish, Chinese, etc., and generate test report at the same time in more languages. Let's go down just to complete this sample card overview package. Also, the price has been automatically calculated, and I could also manage a discount if you are interested in this economical aspect from the quotation till the invoicing generation. We also have that module. The summary will give you the capability to view exactly which department the chemist will be the dedicated one in dealing with the test execution and test results management, drinking hydrogen, conductivity, dry residue, etc. We can also reassign a test to a different analyst of the same department if someone is off sick or on holiday. We can add a validation node, a conclusion, which will appear usually at the bottom of the COA. We can add electronic and digital signature. We can select which test report will be generated. We can also select samplers and locations. And let's go for the typical standard simulation. I'm going to log in with an analyst. Lab manager. Okay. manager and analyst. This user will go straight to complete what has been started by his colleague. So sample management. It will be at the bottom of the list. We know that. So 27th of March, 12:31 Italian time, sample number 2024. I'm gonna select more than one, just to give you a quick idea of how the notebook works. So in the notebook, obviously there's some sample where the test result has already been managed by someone else, okay? And as you can notice straight away, for this drinking hydrogen, etc. Test, we have a result, okay, which turn out to give a purple cell. So the meaning is, if the result is not within the limits, in real time, the system will give you a warning, and actually we'll do it. So you can see, okay, this result is a value out of limit, or you can also have different colors. Each color's got a different meaning. We can have a default value that you can confirm. Obviously, you can have numeric values, numbers, but you can also have test result like positive, negative, or any other textual type of result. You can have value under a detection limit, etc. What is interesting here that you can also have calculated result, okay? And so you can enter a value, and with a validated formula will calculate the result. And another very important thing to highlight about the notebook features is how we can also give you the capability to upload, import directly test results generated and contained in the file. So if you have any type of instrument device within your lab and they generate test results, they can be any type of file, TST, CSV, Excel, etc. We can give you the capability to upload, import the test results, and there will be a massive improvement in terms of data accuracy, minimizing the manual effort and also the potential human mistake. Another very important thing that I would like to show you is that when you in the lab are doing your daily test analysis execution, often, not always, but you can also use, as I said, instruments or even reagents, any type of material, and to be sure that the result is fully consistent, reliable, valid. Obviously, the test needs to be executed with a perfectly calibrated instrument or with any type of reagent which is actually present in your inventory stock. So let me just open an example. So
Sorry,
within,
Stefano. We are just a little bit later, and we should to accelerate towards the conclusion.
I was nearly done, just 30 seconds. This is how you can check that the turbidity test has been done with
Yes,
this
thank you.
reagent and this lot. And then I was just showing how we can generate a test report, validated generated test report, and we can actually validate, give you the list of reports that you will be able to select, and our technician will be able to design and configure a test report with your log organization and with all the information, the test result, signature. Yes, I think I had basically finished my topic. Thank you, Giovanna, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Stefano, and thank you to everyone who is still on the call. I'm just checking the Q&As, and we've got one question that's come up, so we're going to squeeze that in very quickly. Stefano, can you give us some examples of automatic processes that are carried out by LIMS, please?
Yeah, well, there would be many examples, but I'm just gonna mention, for example, the capability to create, actually mentioned at the beginning of the demo, when you can create a sample template, which is like a profile, for example, for drinking water, with all the information of the test package that will be executed, and then you can create and configure and activate some sampling plan, okay, with a specific frequency that can be always modified, and that will give you a massive benefit in terms of using some pre-configured workflow in terms of accelerating, automating the sample management within with your specific workflow with the use of lab LIMS.
Perfect. Thank you, Stefano. Over to you, Giovanna.
Yes, so thank you to all to have spent time with us. We really hope it has been helpful for all of you. Before finish, we would like just to share some information. Our colleagues will contact you in the next days to find out if you need more information about the use of the lab LIMS. And also you will receive the recording and the slides of this complete webinar. If you like to stay up to date with us and with the next use of the news, please follow us on our digital channels, our website and LinkedIn pages. So thank you again from whole use of the team, and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.